Coming to you from the historic Hart Building in Marysville, California, in Studio 93, In the Tank with Fish, with your host, Bob Fischetti.
Well, today on In the Tank, I'm really excited because, I love the military, number one, and secondarily, I love the Air Force. The other branches, it's important that we have them. They're just not quite up to par with the Air Force, and I'm not biased. This is just how I feel. But today, I had an opportunity to talk to Colonel Childs, and he is the commander of Junior ROTC at Lindhurst. I get it right?
Yep, that's correct.
Come on. It's like, and he brought 2 cadets, so we're going to find out today about Junior ROTC, what it takes. But first, before we get there, Colonel, where'd you grow up at?
Born out in Illinois, but I grew up in Washington State. Yeah, my parents moved out there because my dad was Air Force, and after he got out of the Air Force, he moved back to his home state in Washington, and that's where I grew up, and ultimately from there, graduated high school, went into the military, and well, from there, that's a longer story, but everywhere else.
But you got a chance to see the Air Force before you went in.
I did, yes. Although when I first went into the military, I actually had gone enlisted into the Navy because I wanted to travel, I wanted to see the world, and boy, did the Navy ever give me an opportunity to do that. And then by the time I was getting married and I was going to college to get my degree to become an officer, I went into the Air Force to seek other career pathways that I was interested in, and so became an Air Force officer. And 31 years later, here we are.
So did you go in directly to OTS?
I was...
When you transferred from Navy to Air?
No, I did not. I took my GI Bill and I went to college. And then while I was in college, I went to ROTC while I was
okay, so that you could...
Yep, so I could become an officer. And again, got my commission and went back into the military right away, this time as an officer.
So was your dad enlisted?
My dad was enlisted, yes.
Oh, I bet that was fun. When you...
Well, I mean, he has several words to describe it, certainly, but he definitely was thankful for the opportunities that it gave him and for the experience that it gave him. But he did his time in the military, and then when he got out, he was always pushing me, towards the military. That was always my plan, anyways. I mean, I've known I was going in the military since I was 12, so. But my dad was always making sure, the military is a great way to get going. I was like, yeah, Dad, I know. That's where I'm going. So not to worry.
So, did you have brothers and sisters?
Yep. I've got one younger brother, one younger sister, and neither of them are in the military right now. But my younger brother did do 4 years active for a time there. And he did some reserve time afterwards. And then once he got his life on the track that he was on, but the military was instrumental in getting him going as well. So
was he Air Force?
Yes, it was Air Force. Yeah.
Yeah, you always wonder because, like, my dad was Army World War II, and then Vietnam happened. A lot of us got drafted of the boys. So my youngest brother went Marines. My brother, one older than me, went Army, and I went Air Force. So I have to tell you, the family gatherings were interesting.
Yeah, with the various family members that I've got enlisted folks, mostly. It also too. There's the jokes coming in. Oh, you're in the chair force, huh? I was like, oh, okay, yeah, right, gotcha. Because that's all we do. Shoot guys.
Exactly. Yeah. We don't actually work.
That makes you feel better to say that. You go right ahead.
So, how does one end up doing Junior ROTC? Because you've retired.
Yes.
And then this is separate. So how does that happen?
So this is an entirely separate setup. So after I retired out of the military, this was back in 2024, and 31 years in, it was time to do something new. I wanted I had done pretty much everything that I could in the career field that I was in, which was Intel. And got to travel all over the world, which I absolutely loved. Met all sorts of people, did all sorts of things, saw all sorts of cool things, absolutely loved. And then after 31 years, I decided, okay, it's time to do something new. So when I got out, I was looking around. I was, see, should I do something with my security clearance? Should I do something with this, force protection, intelligence on the civilian side? And then I saw that there was an opening, not even 10 minutes away, for a JROTC instructor. So I was like, teaching kids. I've got no small amount of experience in teaching, granted, adults, but nonetheless, kids. How much different could it be? Yeah, famous last words there. But nonetheless, it is.
We're going to ask them how different it could be.
But it is a great experience. So I went into that, and now I'm working for both the military. I basically have two bosses, because I do have the military as my boss, but I also have the school district as my boss. So I'm now using that experience and all of that knowledge in order to help prepare the next generation who is going into the military. And just as a reminder too, not all the kids that are in JROTC are going into the military. Some of them are taking those skills of leadership and management, which everybody needs, no matter whether you go into the corporate area or you go into the military arena, whether you go in, you're a section leader somewhere in a civilian community. All of those skills are going to come into play and are useful no matter who you are or what you're doing.
We had talked offline before. You were actually very briefly at a place I was stationed at for 3 years, and it had to do with your clearance, the same as I had that clearance for Intel, and it was Misawa, Japan, and then you said you weren't there very long, and then they moved.
Oh yeah, so they moved my wife and I out to Misawa, Japan, and I wasn't even there maybe 2-3 weeks or so before, I was headed off to Iraq, and my wife is now in a country with, speaks no Japanese, doesn't have a job or anything yet. And she was just like, oh yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. That's sometimes how it goes in the military. It's you go where you're called.
Yeah. And I didn't realize the value of that clearance. You mentioned that you had to think about it. I didn't find out till later because, I was a cop and I just thought, well, I don't want to be a cop on the outside. Maybe I do. I'll check it out. But I didn't realize there were corporations looking for anybody that had those clearances because it costs the Air Force so much money to get you that clearance, and then they don't have to pay that. So corporations were looking to hire. Yep. I just didn't know it.
It's a lot of money and it's a lot of time.
Is that better?
That's better.
You can just talk. We'll break that window, whatever they call that. It's the fourth wall. It's gone. So let's introduce the cadets that you have with you.
Certainly. So to my right, I've got a couple of my cadets here. So I've got my Cadet Corps Commander, Isriana Freeman. And I've got our Cadet IG, who is Timothy Lopez. Guys, tell them about yourselves.
Well, as Colonel just introduced me, my name is Isriana Freeman. I'm the Cadet Corps Commander. I had joined ROTC in my freshman year, so I had just started and had been doing it all 4 years. So now I'm in my senior year. Yay!
Wow.
But
did it go by like that?
I know.
Did it just seem like?
I know. It felt like everything just went by so fast, and now I'm almost out there in the world. But when I had first joined ROTC, it was because I wanted some discipline in my life. I wanted some more structure, and at a time when I was lacking such structure. And it's helped me out a lot. It's helped me develop my leadership skills, helped me develop confidence in myself and others. It's helped me build my team, my ability to be a part of a team, and my ability to help lead a team.
I have to ask you this. I bet it helped you academically too, didn't it?
It really did. It helped
It's
me
amazing how that structure all of a sudden, oh, gee, study habits. There's a novel idea, right? So you're a senior now.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, where do you go from here?
My plan from here is I want to go to American River College, the community college down. It's technically located in Sacramento, but more towards the Roseville area. But I like to act theater, so I myself am going into the civilian sector, but I'm going to major in theater. I'm going to act. I hopefully goal going into you'll see me on Broadway someday. But
wow! So do you sing?
Yes, sir. I'm a triple threat.
So marching was not difficult for you.
Not really.
Rhythm.
That's great.
No problem.
Rhythm.
I went to American River for one semester, I was playing in a rock band in Sacramento, and for whatever reasons, I thought I need to move beyond that. And so I took music classes. I didn't last very long. I went right back to playing. And so it was later that I actually got back in school down in the Sacramento area. But I do think it's very different. I had already gone to the military, came out. But when you're just coming out, so you've been very fortunate to have a military experience before you even graduate. That is huge. That is huge.
Yes, sir. It was very beneficial for us too. I feel like it just benefits the cadets both mentally, physically, and you never know, maybe financially, if it can motivate us to make smarter decisions in the future financially. But it's one of my most useful classes because it teaches me life skills that I wouldn't normally learn in other classes like home ec. Where no shame to home ec, absolutely very useful. But ROTC is teaching me things like survival, things that I wouldn't normally learn, like out in my freshman seminar or my home ec class. And it's also teaching me some financial advice. Like today, our lesson in class was
Retirement, how to get there.
Ah.
No matter who you are, no matter how much you
nobody
make.
told
Yes, sir.
me that one. That would have been a good one to know.
Yeah, it's not something I was taught when I was in high school, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Definitely could have used that knowledge back when I was 18. Some lessons I had to learn the hard way. So
Yeah, I'd have been putting a few dollars, even a few dollars, right?
Yeah.
We have a financial advisor that does our market minute, and he talks about that. He said that he wishes kids would understand it's not a lot, but put away money, build a savings account. You can use it. So.
yeah, absolutely. My wife is a financial planner, so over the course of her managing my money and all of the knowledge that I have gotten that I wish I would have had when I was 18 years old. I really would. So I've taken that knowledge and I've incorporated that into the JROTC instruction just because it's important that, I mean, as soon as you get out the gate, if I had had that knowledge, I would have found that to be of so much use, and I want to make sure these guys have the same head start that I wish I would have had.
So do you have to do PT?
Yes, sir.
Who's your PT instructor?
Technically, we have our PT instructor is actually the flight commanders and whoever is the warm up leader for each different flight. So we have 5 flights, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, and each leader is different for each flight, but we typically try to go with more underclassmen to give them a chance to step up into a more leadership role, get them used to putting themselves out there. PT days are every Monday. We normally do sports like dodgeball, basketball, foo-ski, flag football, capture the flag, try to keep ourselves engaged. But is it every month or every 2 months that we do?
Every other month.
Every other month we do the physical fitness test, which consists of the 1 mile run, the 1 minute push-ups and sit-ups.
That's very cool. I was going to ask you, so once you became commander, you didn't have to do that anymore, right?
I wish.
That's it. With the crown comes that heavy responsibility.
That's it. There's no out. You keep going. So let's talk to you. So how did you get into ROTC?
I got into ROTC by talking to my counselor. He was like, what electives do you want to do? And I was like, well, I want to go to the military after school. And he was like, you could do ROTC. That's a good leadership program and helps you get into the military. So I went with that my freshman year, and I'm a junior now, so 3rd year.
My grandson told me, I knew if you went to junior ROTC or ROTC, that when you went in the military, they actually give you rank. You don't go in as an airman basic. Is
Correct.
that true?
That is true. Yeah, every single cadet who accomplished it, say for example, Cadet Lopez is going to, when he graduates, well, I've done it for 4 years, just as Cadet Freeman here, but when Cadet Lopez goes into the military, instead of going in as an E1, which is what I went into when I was enlisted, he's going to go in as an E3. So that's automatically that much closer to the sergeant ranks. It's also meaning right out the gate, he's making more money. So yeah, that's because of the fact the military knows that when these cadets who then are becoming recruits, when they come in, they know how to march. They know hierarchy. They know discipline. They know all of these things that they're going to have to teach the rest of the, 90 some odd people they've got in their platoon, flight, whatever the case may be. These cadets already know that.
Are you planning on going Air Force?
Yes, sir.
I was going to guess Marines, but my oldest grandson, he said, I'm going to the Air Force. The youngest one's like, I'm going in the Marines. And I'm like, okay. So that's exciting because, it is money, right? And when you're in the military, it's not like you got this golden paycheck. And that's just a huge deal that you'd be able to go in and do that. Do you have a career field you'd like to go into?
I either want to do architecture or something in the medical field like cardiology.
You notice, Kurt, they didn't say security forces.
That is not to say that I don't have cadets because, like I said, I've got 2 cadets just who graduated this last year and a couple of cadets in this current year that are planning on going in as security forces because they have aspirations of going one day, I don't know, FBI, or they want to become civilian cops after they're done with their military time. So, yeah, we've definitely got them that want to go security forces. I've got 2 just last graduation did so themselves.
I did appreciate the training, and then I went back in when the Air Force switched to air-based ground defense, which was much more training than what we got going through first time. And I was very appreciative of that, right? Even though the cops kind of get kidded, man, that training, and then you were constantly training. So you were learning stuff all the time. So it was good. But I think the Air Force is very good at that. Always, you can always keep training. There's always something that will cause you to advance. And, going in as an E3 is amazing to me because when I was in, E4 was sergeant, which they changed, it was buck sergeant. Now they changed it to senior airman.
Yep.
And then staff sergeant is right after that. So, man, you're right up the, I don't know how it works anymore because I'm sure that whatever tech school you go to, depending on what you go to, some of them are 18 months.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're long tech schools. And so the enlistment requirement ends up being longer, but you get a better career field for what you want to do.
Typically speaking, yes, the longer the school, the longer the requirement. Because obviously the military wants to make sure that if they're going to put that much time and money into you, they want to make sure that they're getting a requisite amount of time as well for that investment. My intel school, for example, I was in there for 9 months, and that's after I had to go through, the officers boot camp, and then after I went through, ACSC, which is another type of school, and then they put me in for 9 months. So there's a lot of time that goes into making these airmen into, or whatever military service they end up going into, but making these recruits into the military members that they become.
So were any of your family in the military already?
Yeah, my aunties. I have 2 aunties that were in the Air Force. And then my uncle was in the Marines. And my grandpa also served. I'm not sure which branch, but he also served.
Yeah, well, just be okay if they call you Chair Force. Just be okay if you did. So this is the end of it for you for your senior year. And you guys are quite a ways in through this. And so I know you had the experience. You went to commander, right? So you got to be remembering how much that has meant to be able to do that. And I noticed that you mentioned that with the PT, you're trying to get the younger ones as they come in. Did all that develop during the course of you being in ROTC where you began to see, okay, how can I help others fill these spots and grow in what I've learned?
Yes, sir. I think over the course of when I started, it was just, there was a lot of these systems that were already implemented that I was like, okay, I wanted to get more involved because at first, I will admit, I was very scared, very just hiding in my little corner, what's going on? And then as the as the year went on, especially during my first year, we got a lot of well, essentially, I wouldn't say putting us on the spot, but we got a lot of attention onto us as individuals and on working on our marching, working on our leadership skills, such as practicing, giving even our younger cadets the opportunity to practice commanding a flight, the opportunity to practice their command voice, to just push ourselves out there. And when I first started, I definitely wanted to just start getting involved. And I was like, I remember hearing about the exec staff meetings, about all the things that they were doing, going like, I want to do that. I want to help do that. And I remember when I first started, I was like, wouldn't it be so cool if I became Corps Commander? And here I am.
So have you had a chance to march the flight?
Yes, sir. Couple times.
That's an experience, isn't it?
I will be getting to do that this Saturday on the Buckeye Parade. I will be commanding the flight formation for ROTC.
Okay, you ready for this?
Yes, sir.
I will be announcing. That's what I do every year. So, yeah, I'll be watching. I'll be like yelling cadence. That's really good. So have you done that yet? Had a chance to march a flight?
Yes, sir. Previously, I was the honor guard commander, and for the parades, I would command my honor guard team, and then we had the hats we would flip, and all the other stuff.
You know, we don't realize how those little things, because you don't always keep doing that stuff, right? You go on, you know, and so, I mean, unless you're in honor guard or something, usually once you're done with basic or tech school, whatever, you really don't march unless there's some event. You go to work.
For the most part, yeah. Once you're finished with boot camp, there's a few occasions for that could come up, but for the most part, once you're done with boot camp, marching, at least in a large formation anyway, is definitely you're doing that much less often.
Yeah. So have you had to teach any of these how to march, or have you got?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, myself and my assistant instructor, Chief Miller, the two of us are on a weekly basis. We're out there, because some cadets are going to learn faster than others, and some of the cadets require a little bit more time. Some of them, but inevitably, all of them get to a point where they are looking quite the professional group out there. I mean, I think I might have mentioned it prior, but I mean, Air Force JROTC, this crew right here, they did so well in their marching during the Veterans Day Parade that now the organizers of that event want these guys to be in the front leading this thing every year thereafter. So, I mean, these guys, I mean, they did an outstanding job. They were professional in every way. And in fact, if not for the cadet ranks on them, you probably wouldn't have even known that they were not active duty.
You know, that's because as they get older, you're not thinking about that. You know, these are freshmen, unless they're really small. But I mean, that might be a giveaway. But yeah. So Colonel, I think I asked you. We don't have ROTC in every school in our area.
No, we do not. I do know that I believe Wheatland is trying to get an ROTC detachment, JROTC detachment set up. But presently, in the close by, it's Lindhurst, and I think there's another one in Yuba City. There's a high school out there for them. They've got Navy JROTC out there, but we do allow, for example, the folks from Marysville High School, anybody who's interested in JROTC, they are our crosstown students. They will come to Lindhurst, and they'll spend the first 2 periods there, one of which is going to be the JROTC class. Wow. In which case, then they'll bus back to Marysville after that. But we have opportunities for them to participate as well, because the skills that cadets will learn. I mean, if I could, I would merge those 2 schools together and just make it that much easier. But those cadets that are really disciplined and ready for it, I mean, they do what they have to do. They get on that bus, they come on over, and we teach them and try to make the same experience as much as possible. Obviously, it's a little bit of logistics of an issue because of the fact that we have to bus them back and forth. But for the most part, it's pretty much the same experience for them when they get in there, and learning that command, learning that leadership, learning that management skills. All of that is across the board a standard for every cadet.
So, do you ever like? Because you talked about in PT you do games, but is there ever like a marching competition or?
Oh, very much so. I absolutely. We'll pit these guys against each other just to see which flight is doing the best, and then I'll do things like during the practice I'll record it, so that way they have an opportunity to see themselves and see, oh, look at that, we can do better than that, or hey, look at, we can increase this, or whatever the case is. It's allowing them to be able to see themselves, and recording it is a great training tool for them, because it allows them. I mean, you can tell somebody what they need to improve on, till you're blue in the face, but when they see themselves, that's a different sort of impact.
When I went through OCS, there was a guy in front of me. I swear he did not know his left from his right, and he was prior military. And I was like, they finally pulled him out, work with him, put him back in the ranks, and he did great. But that, I know what you mean by sometimes somebody just takes more work, right? Sometimes. But they do it. I mean, it's like you can think it's intimidating at first, right? And you see them marching and it's going like this, right? Mm. And then pretty soon it's just smooth.
A lot of people, they fail to understand exactly how much work goes into knowing how to march and being able to make an entire group of people do that well. Yeah. They think, a lot of people just think, oh, it's just walking. So no, it takes a little bit more than that. And very, very shortly after a cadet comes into the class and they start getting those marching instructions for the first time, then they're like, wow, there's more to this than I thought looking from the outside in.
I had an officer, enlisted my TI when I went through, and it was his favorite thing was marching. It was his favorite thing. And so we were on the drill pad a lot, right? And he had this thing called Razzle Dazzle March, right? Which it looks like everybody's going different directions and then comes back in. And, we were excited when we actually learned it and not run into each other, right? Because you had to learn how to do that. But he would do that. He'd pull the flight up next to another flight and he'd yell that and they'd be all impressed. And he was like, yeah, I did that, right? They got that right.
Yep, definitely showing off what he's got.
Exactly. He made us work at it. So Cadet Lopez, so you have one more year to go.
Yes, sir.
What do you want to see happen in this next year for you in junior ROTC?
I want to see the cadets progress increase, like their marching skills and their commanding. Like I want to see the lower classmen come up to higher ranks and stuff, and I want to see them perform better than they did the previous years, because I see them growing up. I have a couple classmates in my flight, and I've seen them from their freshman year, now they're sophomores, and they've improved a lot, and I like seeing that and helping them do that.
How does one gain rank in junior ROTC?
Every semester we do a promotion. We have a sign-up sheet. What's it? The dream sheet?
Yes, the
job dream sheet. And they put like what job they want to do. And then we'll talk it over and see who's best for what position. And then the rank comes with their job that they get.
Oh. Mm-hmm. So when you became commander, the rank came with that.
Yes, sir.
So who got to vote you in, or how does that work? You got to have a say in that.
Yes, sir.
I'm pretty sure the colonel had something to say about that.
Yeah,
Yes,
every single cycle, Chief and I, we will look at the entire corps, and we will see those who have, who have said that they were interested in the job. And we'll take those candidates and we will interview with each one of them. And then Chief and I will decide, okay, here's our rack and stack of who we think is, top to bottom, who we think is going to be best for that position. Once that corps commander is chosen, however, we then turn those dream sheets over to the corps commander and say, okay, corps commander, here's the list of people and what they want to do. You need to put together the best team that you can, because remember, they're going to be supporting you in this endeavor and you can't do it on your own. So make sure you choose wisely. And Chief and I will obviously guide them along the way, because we have some insights on some cadets, as, well, you might want to rethink this one, or, right. But for the most part, we let them take that wheel and steer the ship.
Do they have to be a senior to be the commander?
They do not have to be a senior. That is typically how it turns out, but it has happened in the past where a junior was actually the corps commander just because that person turned out to be the best choice amongst those available. That was before I took over the program, but liaising with the prior instructor, he'd informed me, yeah, this has been done before.
Wow.
But typically speaking, it'll usually be a senior.
So even a freshman can put in for a position.
Yeah, they could.
But
however,
I'm getting it.
I don't see that actually.
Well, because they don't have any of the skill set yet.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, there's a whole world of knowledge that they have yet to learn before they're ready for that.
Yeah. So if you would have picked a freshman, he probably would have said,
Yes, sir. That would have been overruled.
It would have looked like this. Freeman, come here. Need to talk to you about something here.
I fear Colonel might have thought I was joking.
you would
Colonel would have hoped she was joking.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I can see that. Well, I have to tell you, this is exciting for me because I knew there was a program out there. They asked me to come and speak for their media department, and when I came outside, there were a bunch of students in uniform, and that's when I asked. I said, "Is there a junior ROTC program here?" And they said, "Very much, very active." And so that's how I found out it was available at Lindhurst. I'm really excited to find out that the kids from Marysville could go there, right, and do that. But I can see where, more and more, like right now in our military, the recruiters got it easy. Kids are going in.
There's definitely a surge in the recruitment of late, yes.
And so I could see where, the opportunity, Cadet Lopez, no, I'm going in as an E3. That's huge. Colonel, do you know if that would be any branch?
That is all the branches, yes.
Wow.
So it doesn't matter if they're going into the Marines or Army, Air Force, Navy, it doesn't matter. All of them, if you complete 3 years, you're going in as an E3.
Wow.
Yeah. And subsequently, if you complete 2, you'll go in as an E2. But yeah, that's the advantage right out the gate of what you get by being a part of JROTC. Never mind all of the skills, obviously, that arguably speaking, I would say that is actually the more important, but getting paid more is definitely an incentive, but the knowledge that they're going to gain out of becoming a part of that and understanding what it is to be a team, responsibility, how to be a leader, that right there is far and away the more valuable lessons to be had.
Well, I could see that, having gone through basic, if you had somebody that came in that had any of that skill set, they immediately, they put them in positions, right? Because you're looking for who can be the leaders. I get that. So if you've already got that leadership skill, that TI already knows that. Yep. He knew that when you came in. So you might get to be house mouse. I don't know. One of those.
And I have warned everybody, you're going into the military. They're going to know your JROTC. They're going to be picking you. You're going to be that one standing in the front. So
yeah. It's called voluntold.
Yeah.
Have you worked on that skill set with them? That voluntold?
Yeah, actually. I mean, just the other day, Freeman was sitting at having her exec staff meeting. Cadet Freeman sitting there, and she's like, "Okay, I need a volunteer for this."
Crickets.
I'm gonna volunteer somebody here in a minute here, and then we had we'll do that. All right, so she's learned.
Well, you know what's going to happen with you if you don't go in the military, because you have this skill set. If there's any parts in plays and movies that are military, guess who's getting picked?
Probably me, sir.
That's right.
You already have that experience in that,
One day you're going to report back and say, you know what, that marching was a part of this role, and I got it because I already knew it. There you go.
Yes, sir, and it all paid off to you, sir.
Absolutely. There you go. See, one day when she's picking up her Oscar, she's going to be... there we are.
And I have to thank Lieutenant Colonel Childs.
I just want to, just got to be careful. Don't say I want to thank all the little people that made this happen. Right. And then you mention his name. Not good.
Reverse the order. It'll be fine.
Well, listen, so I have to ask both of you, how would you, Cadet Lopez, how would you recommend to somebody to be part of the Junior ROTC program? How would you approach that?
Just talk to your counselor. It's super simple. When you're picking your elective classes, just choose ROTC as your elective. Simple as that.
Okay, that's the way to get in. But how would you approach them in telling them what junior ROTC has to offer? I guess let me put it this way. I just made you a recruiter. And so now persuade somebody to come in the junior ROTC. How would you do that? I should have asked the actress, right? But give it your best shot.
Well, we do that. We go to the middle schools and do that at Yuba Gardens Middle School. We do recruit like the 8th graders. We talk to them. I would let them know like the benefits they get. Their sophomore year, they don't have to take PE because they get PE credits from ROTC. So they don't have to do that. And then their junior year, they don't have to take a science class. They get science credits from here, from the aerospace science. And there's also good leadership skills. If you're trying to go to college, it's going to look good on your resume. Say, yeah, I was in ROTC, and they'll be like, yeah, come to our college.
I think that there's just one other element, and that's you're going to find friends and camaraderie. Because you guys, you bond, right?
Right, that they do.
And so, all right, tell me how you would do it.
Well,
You can't just tell them you're going, okay?
Come on.
if only that would work.
Oh, wait, that's how my company commander was.
If only that would work.
Yeah.
But basically, how I would approach that situation is I would ask them what their interests are, and I would tell them that you don't have to go into the military. If you join junior ROTC, you can use your leadership skills to advance in any other civilian sector that you want to. And I would just give an example of how I'm not going into the military. And then I would tell them, we have a bunch of extracurricular activities that we can do, such as our special teams. Like, for example, on Thursday, our color guard team is going to present for, is it the baseball game, sir?
Yep.
For the boys' baseball game. We're going to present the colors there. And we have community service events as well. It's a great way to help out your community. You can build a lot of friends. Like, I have a bunch of friends simply just from ROTC, because as you go through your however long you want to stay, you meet a lot of people, and we have a lot of different characters. It's a very diverse amount of cadets that we have, and I would make that clear, like anyone and everyone can join. You don't have to have specific requirements in order to join the class. You don't have to have a specific GPA requirement. You can join as all you have to do is you have to want to be in the class. And then I would tell them that we also have field trips, if nothing else. Would you like to miss out on a day of school to go camping? Would you like to go
Build a cabin in the middle of the wilderness.
Exactly.
Where has that ever happened before?
I don't know.
All right, Colonel, one more question. Yeah. I think it's important. I told you my grandkids are in junior OTC, and they do fundraisers because all the funds that you need to do what you do are not readily available. I want to make that clear that you guys just don't have this endless supply of money coming in to do the things you need to do. So how can people support this? What ways can they get involved?
So one of the ways is, so Cadet Freeman and the rest of our exec staff, they have a fundraiser that's set up right now through the school. It's a kind of GoFundMe where it's just a link that you can click on, and we'll make sure that you have that link if you wanted to put that up there.
I'm sure that was going to happen for us.
But yeah, you click on that link and you can donate $1 or whatever the case is. But what that does is that goes towards not only funding things like the fun stuff that the cadets get to do, like going on the camping trips, but also too those leadership development activities, whether it's competing in national level events or paying for the transportation and the logistics, staying. I mean, there are national level competitions that JROTC units can be a part of. But that does indeed cost money, and unfortunately, we can't lean on Uncle Sam for quite everything that we need.
No.
So, but things like that, the cadets will also engage in other forms of fundraising as well. I mean, I think you guys have done the car washes before. we've gotten and done anything and everything that we can in order to get them involved in the community and to, get them seen out there. Is we're always open to doing so. But most recently, yes, we did discover about the online fundraising, and hopefully we can, help to fund those events for them through this way, because it really does go towards a good cause in helping these kids in this community in order to be able to learn everything they can about who they really are, or even better yet, who they can become.
I appreciate you guys taking the time to come on. I had talked to you before, and I just thought, man, people need to know that. Sometimes I just feel like there's so many things goes on in our community, and these things go on within our school system, these opportunities, but not everybody knows about it. So I appreciate you guys willing to take the time and to come in and do this podcast.
Thanks for having us out. Appreciate it.
So anyway, there you have it. If you're out there and wait a minute. Yeah, I forgot about that. So the only way to get one of these cups is to come in the tank. You have to come in the tank.
Thank you, sir.
Or you don't get one of these. Thank you, sir. You guys. Yeah. And I'm telling you, Dutch Brothers, all those different coffees work in there.
Excellent.
Right? Okay. Although you fill that with espresso, could be a little exciting after that. That's a lot.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So anyway, we appreciate Junior ROTC. This in particular is at Lindhurst, but like the Colonel said, if you're at Marysville, you can still go there. And I like this idea of supporting them. It's one more opportunity. I appreciate the leadership skills, the things that go on. I'm prior military. I love this kind of stuff. And so I'm going to have Kurt put how you can do that at the bottom of this video. And as always, like, subscribe, share, and comment. Kurt, I said it. I always forget that. I made it. I'm excited for me.
As a content creator, that's a reminder you got to have.
Thanks for watching.